Hey guys, what's up? It is Preach as always. So today's video is going to be all about the recent XDefiant server test that we just had, and it was available Friday through today, Sunday at noon. I only got to play yesterday on the Saturday of this, but I wanted to wait and publish this video on Sunday, let the play test be over before I put my thoughts out there. And I'm going to have gameplay playing in the background probably of just an individual game, and then I'll post another highlight video later on this week of just sniping highlights that I had during the session that I got to play for yesterday. But before we jump into this and I talk about all of my thoughts about the play test, what I think about the game and all of that, you guys know what to do. If you like this video, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new here, and turn the bell notifications on if you want to know every time I post a new video. So let's go ahead and jump into this. They had a server playtest, and the whole purpose of this was to essentially get as many people on the game as they could and really just overload their servers and see if they hold up, see what can be handled, and obviously also see bugs in the game, things like that. So they had notes encouraging us to report, if you went through the menus, to report what we found that was going wrong, what was breaking, things that weren't working, things like that within the game. So that's why I want to go ahead and make a video on this today, is to say what I thought was great, what's working well, and to point out the things, although they were few in my opinion, that didn't work very well. So the first thing I want to note is that there were a lot more maps this time, and maybe I just only got to play a couple maps during the September play test, but I played several maps this time that I had not gotten to play before, so there was more content, and they allowed us access to a bunch of guns, and the attachments were available to put on the guns right away instead of having to level them up, which was kind of weird, but I'm glad they did that because it let us see the guns in their like pseudo final state, you know, once you have them leveled up. And all I did was snipe during this. I used both sniper rifles, but I primarily used the TAC 50, which is the slower, harder hitting of the two sniper rifles. And I thought sniping felt really good, but I want to put this caveat in there. I was playing on a controller, and I heard and read through other people's stuff that sniping on a mouse felt a little bit clunky, but I can't attest to that myself, so maybe there's some other people's gameplay out there. I just didn't really have time to switch inputs. When the game fully releases, I'll jump on mouse and see how I think it feels, because I feel comfortable sniping in Call of Duty on mouse or controller. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm comfortable with both inputs and think they both feel smooth on Call of Duty. So I'm curious to see if there's anything to the difference in how they feel between mouse or controller on XDefiant. So moving on, I thought the game modes were interesting, but it's weird to me that, and maybe there'll be something like this in the full release, but there's no like team deathmatch style mode. Every mode is some sort of objective base, which I prefer objective based modes, but I know a lot of people like just playing TDM. So hopefully that's a mode that is going to be involved going forward. I also want to address some of the complaints and other things that I've seen across Reddit and Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it now, and even YouTube about the game that I think are a little bit overblown. Some people have been complaining about how, in their opinion, the whole game feels like clunky and stuff. And I think what needs to be understood is if you are a Call of Duty player, you're going to have two problems when it comes to the movement in this game. The first problem is that it's just new. It's a different game that's movement is a little bit different, and you just have to get used to it. They're not the same engine. They don't feel the same. It's not that one is better or worse per se, and we'll address that in a minute, but it's just that it is different. And I am sure, now we didn't really have this with MW2 over to MW3 because it's like the same thing, but like compare MW3 right now and how we move to Cold War and how we moved. It feels different because it's a different engine. Even though that's COD to COD, it's a different engine, different developer. The movement was a little bit different, and it feels different. So if you go back, like I went back the other day to play World War II on my PlayStation, and it felt so different than playing Call of Duty does right now. So games just don't feel exactly the same as each other. unless they're just an adaptation using the same engine like we got with MW2 going over to MW3. The small changes they made were just that, small changes. It wasn't a totally different engine. You're switching engines coming to this game. So that's one of the things that it's not that it's clunky, it's just that it's different and you're not used to it. So give yourself some time to get used to it. The other thing I want to address is this, though, okay? Ubisoft has been making games like Assassin's Creed, like The Division, like Splinter Cell, like Ghost Recon, you know, those kind of games. They're fun games, but they don't move anything like Call of Duty, and they don't move like a first-person shooter, multiplayer, arcade game. Call of Duty has been making their games for a really long time. So, like, their feel of gunplay is, like, considered the masterclass of how it should feel. You know, their movement is considered the masterclass. They've been doing it for a long time. They've cornered the market on it, and they've been doing it for a long time. Ubisoft is new to this, and yes, while they are COD developers, they can't take the engine with them. So, you know, some of them are ex-COD developers, things like that, you know, ex-COD pros like Aches, but they can't take the systems with them when they go. So, not everything is going to feel like Call of Duty. Like, if you're looking for this game to be Call of Duty, just play Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying? So just stop trying to make this into Call of Duty. And then the other big complaint that I've been seeing everywhere is the bullets are curving around corners and I'm getting shot through walls, and I had that, and I'm going to post some of that toward the end of this video, probably after my commentary, where you can see, and I'm even complaining about it happening because it is frustrating in the moment, lagging out of the game, stuff like that, but understand that it's not as big a deal as you're making it, because that was the point of a server test, is to see how that stuff functions. So they can see that it is not working like it's supposed to and fix it. Now, am I guaranteeing you they're going to fix it? No, I'm not. But what I am saying is, yeah, let's point it out. I need to point it out. You need to point it out. Everybody needs to point it out. But let's pump the brakes on being like, I'm not going to play this game when it comes out because the servers are trash. Like, this was a test to see how the servers hold up. That's the whole point of this playtest. So the fact that they didn't, yeah, that's not great, but it's not a make or break situation. It showed them what needs fixed. So hopefully they see that and they get it fixed going forward, and we have a great game with great servers to play. So the big things I want to take away from this, I think the gameplay feels great. The maps look good. They're colorful. They're bright. They're vibrant. It's easy to pick out the enemies, tell them apart from your teammates. And I like how the spawn system seems to work in most of these games. It's relatively sticky spawns, and I think that that's better. It feels very Treyarchy or old Call of Duty vibe. The lack of SBMM is great. I played against players that absolutely destroyed me, and I played against players that I absolutely destroyed. And that's exactly how it should work. I'm a middle of the road to slightly above average to slightly above average player, I would say, and in most FPS games, maybe even really above average. I don't know what the average is. But, you know, I played most of my games, I was top of the leaderboard in this, but I played against some dudes that absolutely curb stomped me, slammed my face into the dirt, made me look like an absolute chump. So it is a broad spectrum when you have no SBMM, and that's the way I think that it should be, because I can appreciate their talent more when I'm not having to face them every single game. So it made it less annoying to even play the guys that just stomp my face in, because I occasionally got to stomp somebody else's face in, so to speak. So I think it is a great balance. I really enjoyed the playtest, and I'm really excited for the game to come out. I'm going to let you guys see those little server frustrations that I was having as this game closes. But if you guys enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new here, turn the bell notifications on, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Preach out.
Capture zone contested. Zone secured. Hostiles are having a bad day. You're a